All right, everyone, thanks for joining today. We're going to go ahead and get kicked off. So we had a couple people fill in here in the last couple minutes, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So today we're going to go through a couple main things. First, we're going to get kicked off with who we are, what we do. We're going to dive into the dropship automation industry in general, talk a little bit about the competition out there, what's available as far as software, different kind of models that are available. We talk about our services and kind of how our services kind of help you grow your business, what kind of different services we have, as well as our product roadmap and kind of what we're looking to do here early in 2017. And then we're going to open it up for Q&A towards the end. Feel free to add any questions you have into the chat box at the bottom. We'll answer them as we go along, and we'll also have a dedicated section at the end to jump into those questions for everyone. So who we are. So Inventory Source was founded in 2003. We've got about 19 employees, and we're based out of Jacksonville, Florida. We are, our mission really is to help you sell more and manage less. And what that means is that we provide powerful tools to help you sync inventory orders across your multiple suppliers, your warehouse, just about any kind of software or sales channel that you might sell online. So how that kind of translates to what we do, so we sync inventory orders at its very basic sense. Really what that means is we first start off with integrating. So integration with your dropship supplier, your third-party warehouse, or your ERP software. We connect to that software, that supplier, that warehouse to integrate directly to that source. From there, we're able to automate kind of that sourcing side of your business by automatically uploading products, sync your inventory, quantity, and price, and also routing your order and your shipment tracking. And finally, we connect to your online store, your marketplace seller account, or your multi-channel management platform. So if you have a Shopify store, a big commerce store, you're selling on Amazon, Rakuten, eBay, we're able to kind of complete this full supply chain cycle here for you to integrate with that supplier's inventory, to upload the products, to load them to your store, and sync inventory, and complete the whole process back with the order processing and shipment tracking. So to talk about how we're different and how we fit in the e-commerce dropship space and the dropship automation space specifically. So really what we typically see are two different models. We see the one-stop shops and we see the enterprise software. So one-stop shops being someone that is basically advertising a website where you can go and get access to hundreds or thousands of suppliers and products, and you can purchase through them, and you can automatically load them to your website or your Amazon seller account, wherever it might be, and it all kind of goes through one central quote-unquote supplier. This is essentially what we refer to as a middleman. A lot of times they're going to have markup in between what they're purchasing the product from the supplier at and what you're selling on or what they're selling to you, and obviously you're trying to sell that as a markup from on your store as well, which can obviously cause a lot of issues in trying to gain profit and really running a business. The other part is a lot of times they're sourcing it from other suppliers that you could be working with directly. Obviously, if they're sourcing it from hundreds of different suppliers with different warehouses and different shipping methods, it can cause a lot of headache in the logistical side of things. The other part is you're not really, if you're working with a one-stop shop, you're not getting any kind of volume discounts, any kind of specials. They're basically taking those from the supplier, whether it's a seasonal discount or a volume based on, or a discount based on your volume in the past month, past year, whatever it might be. You're not really building that credit with the supplier. You're kind of just signing up for a program with this quote-unquote one-stop shop. The other big disadvantage with this kind of model is the fact that there's really no competitive advantage. You're basically sourcing from one central program, dropship program, where everyone has access to the same products, the same prices, and they're being advertised all along the internet, so for anyone else to find that might want to compete with you. Lastly, the technology and supplier lock-in. Obviously, if you set up for one of these and you start building your business or trying to build your business in this kind of scenario, you're going to be locked into that kind of technology, that supplier, that network that program offers. On the other side of the coin, it's not as easy to get started or not as cheap, but we have the enterprise software side where a lot of times the enterprise software is mostly focused on just providing you that software that you need to sync with your inventory and your price. It's rarely focused on the product content data, images, titles, descriptions, things like that. A lot of the software out there is not really made for that. With that, if you do want to sync things like that, you can usually do it with a custom setup through enterprise software. That usually can take a lot of time, a lot of upfront cost, time, and money to get going. And then lastly, obviously, looking around from what I've seen in the market, this is usually going to cost you about $500 a month average to have this kind of software if you've got multiple suppliers and are above kind of that 500 order per month mark. Where we sit is kind of right in the middle. So we try to pull best of both worlds with starting with our directory suppliers, right? So we make it very easy to get started with browsing through our directory suppliers that you see that are already integrated, already have full product data, and you can browse through the products that they actually sell. We don't sit as a middleman like here on the left-hand side with the one-stop shops, but we also do have this whole list of pre-integrated suppliers, unlike the enterprise software you can see on the right. The one thing we really do stress is that direct supplier relationship. So because of the volume discounts, the specials, understanding how, maybe you go from dropship into wholesale and want to have a relationship with an account manager to kind of help you through that process. Whatever it might be, if you're really trying to build a long-term serious business, having that direct supplier relationship is key in doing so. We also kind of tout the turnkey kind of integration setup, but we also have the flexible technology. We're not going to lock you in to a certain kind of turnkey store that is built on our own proprietary software. We're partnered with many different stores, whether it's Shopify, BigCommerce, Magento, WooCommerce, to kind of allow you to sell on any platform. And when you go to change, if you decide to ever change platforms, you don't really have to rip out all the underlying technology that we provide. And lastly, the enterprise software, we really do feel we compete with the enterprise software side as far as the features and functionalities that we offer, our syncing process, our tech team that we have kind of behind it, but we do provide it at that SMB price that is very similar to what you'll find at those one-stop shop kind of prices. So how we kind of provide this, we showed where we sit in the market, but what our core services are these three pieces right here. So the supplier directory is our obviously a very popular service that people sign up for. It's completely free, has over 100 integrated suppliers. One of the only directories out there that you can actually view the products and policies of the supplier. A lot of times you sign up for these directories, they cost money, maybe they're free, but either way you're usually just finding the supplier, reading some information about them, not getting a full idea of their product catalog like we provide. And we also provide the contact info, so once you do find these suppliers, like we said earlier, you want to set that direct relationship. We've got the supplier contact info there for you to follow up with them. Our most popular service, paid service, by far, is inventory automation. This is where, as I mentioned before, this is where you're uploading. We provide the auto upload product listings. So if your supplier has a feed with product image, data, descriptions, titles, things like that, and all of ours in our directory do, we're going to automatically upload those to your store, whether it's WooCommerce, BigCommerce, Shopify, one of our 20+ different integrations. After we upload it, we're going to be syncing inventory with our auto update of inventory. We're going to sync that on right now a twice daily status, and then we're also loading new products as we see them show up in the feed. Lastly, we've got three big tools that a lot of people find value in when managing this kind of data set in this larger size. If you've got tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of SKUs, we've got a way to kind of manage pricing across those SKUs, mark it up from cost, from weight, from category, tons of different options there. Our product filter tool, which allows you to determine which kind of products you want to load. I only want to load products with images, or I only want to load products that are under a certain weight or over a certain MSRP. And then we've got a category mapping tool that allows you to kind of map your categories from your supplier directly to your store. Our order automation service is a way to directly integrate into your supplier's ordering system. So it's not sending an email like a lot of software out there kind of allows you to do. We're actually pushing the order into their order system. So there's some integration we've done up front with a lot of our suppliers. There's integration we're willing to do with any supplier that you're working with to directly place that order with them into their system. So you're kind of putting yourself in front of the other resellers out there. You're making sure that your order is going in as quick as possible, and your order is getting in without any kind of issues as far as fat fingering the shipping address or adding in a wrong customer name, whatever it might be. One of the best parts that a lot of people love about this is not only are you putting the order in, you're also pulling the shipment tracking from that supplier without having to check back into a B2B portal or check back in from an email. And this shipment tracking is automatically routed back to your sales channel. So if you're selling on Shopify, your Shopify your Shopify customer is going to get updated once we have routed back that shipment tracking from your supplier to your Shopify store and then to your customer. And obviously, some of you're selling from multiple different suppliers. It's definitely necessary to make sure that you're routing all of these orders appropriately, and that is built into the software as well. So just give you a quick breakdown on how all this works. For inventory automation, we usually start with an integration with a supplier, whether it's one that you're working with currently that we build a custom integration for you, or if there's one that we've already built. I'm sure you've heard the EDI, API, XML, CSV, all those three-letter acronyms that you hear from your vendors that want you to integrate with their data. What we first do is we standardize that data. So a lot of times you'll get there's too much information doesn't make sense, it's mapped differently across different suppliers. We kind of do all that upfront work to make sure that it's good standard data and it fits into one kind of mapping within our system. And then we didn't categorize it, make sure it does have categories. If it doesn't, we make sure to break down, if we've got 10,000, 100,000 products, we make sure to kind of make that in a good categorized and usable format. And then one big thing really that we do that a lot of people don't is we make sure to map variations. And what we refer to as variations are essentially when you have, say, a t-shirt and it has a different color, black, white, green, and has a couple different sizes, small, medium, large. A lot of times when you're getting these feeds, there's no idea or any concept of variations. It's just a list of SKUs. What we do is we actually map those so that when you do load those products to your Shopify store or your BigCommerce store or wherever it might be, it's going to load appropriately so you have a product listing that is built for the customer experience with a drop-down like you're used to of color and size. And it's not several different product listings of a white t-shirt next to a green t-shirt next to a small t-shirt. Which a lot of those, the one-stop shops really don't provide, and in enterprise software, there's a lot of upfront investment to kind of get that to work. That's kind of built into what we do initially. So once we kind of, ingested that data, mapped it, ensured that it's, in our system properly and usable, that's when we start the monitoring. We do price, quantity, and status. Like I said, twice daily. We're actually moving to a more of an hourly or nearly real-time monitoring here early this year. We're looking for new products. We're looking to make sure if there's any new products in the feed, we're automatically uploading in our system, giving you the ability to automatically upload them in your system or sales channel. And then we're also making sure that that feed is up. If that feed is not up, say the supplier's system is down or that supplier hasn't updated, whatever it might be, we're constantly checking it so you don't have to ensure that that data is accurate. I mentioned earlier the automation tools. Once we have in our system, you then have those three different tools to use to manipulate that data. And then finally, a lot of people that are in the e-commerce space are used to dealing with a file upload or working with messing around with data and changing columns and formats and things like that. There's no file involved. We take care of all that file process, and we ingest it in our system to allow you to easily just use an interface to deal with all this data. Like I said, we've mapped variations attributes to most of the major platforms, and as I said earlier as well, flexible and customizable. You can see right here, some of the top multi-channel platforms, marketplaces, and online store platforms are just a few named here. We've got 20 to 30 of those pre-integrated for you. And to give you a quick breakdown of how the order automation workflow works, it's probably best to kind of show you from the eyes of your customer. So you can see here on the left, your customer orders from either Amazon, Shopify, Magento. All these are kind of our listed supported sales channels for order automation. They place that order on your sales channel, and once that happens, you're going to have an order management dashboard where you then get to choose to either verify and process that order, or you can set it so it automatically is processing and sending to your suppliers. Some people like to look at each order as they come in, so we have that option, and they can simply just click one button and send it to their supplier and send all that data, customer name, shipping address, SKU, product ID that they're ordering. Or some people have so many orders coming in that they need to automatically route those orders appropriately to the supplier. Obviously, to be able to do that, we have split order routing built in place. We give you the option to route that, those orders across. So you have one order from multiple suppliers. It's going to automatically route. We also give you the option to kind of verify that and maybe look at that order and see, does that make sense to send this order? It's going to be split shipping. It's going to be a split order. It might not be profitable, so we give you that option as well. And as mentioned earlier, the direct order placement really does help with turnaround time and ensuring that your products are going to be in stock when there's high volume sales from your supplier and other resellers. There's no manual entry, no emails to send, and it really does help with that turnaround to your customer. Lastly, we're going to auto-populate that shipment tracking. We're going to auto-update this order status in your store, so it's going to it's going to go from a open order or a pending order to a closed or shipped order in your Shopify store or Magento store, wherever it might be, and that's going to automatically initiate whether it's an email or any other workflows you have built off that change of order status. So a couple other tools worth mentioning. We have a separate tool for eBay. It actually comes with inventory automation, so you could basically get two, Amazon and eBay for $50 a month, or Shopify and eBay for $50. As a standalone product, it's $25. The reason it's a standalone product is eBay has their own their own model where they charge listing fees. There's a lot of categorization and templates to be applied and things like that that really called for its own tool there. So we've created a tool for that. It's actually getting a whole revamp. The interface is being upgraded. We're adding some new features, functionality. We expect to see that coming out here in the next couple of weeks. So definitely be on the lookout for that, because this is a tool that we've had our users be using for the last at least 6 or 7 years, and it's going to be a major update to it here coming up soon. Turnkey website. So this is essentially our inventory automation plan with a preloaded Shopify store. We install our turnkey theme, which is a very simple theme to kind of get you up and running. We provide a quick start guide. We install our app. It's basically our inventory automation service with this this process and this Shopify store and theme kind of built in to make it very easy to get up and running and selling dropship items very quickly. And as it says here, it's just the cost of your Shopify store. They start about $29 a month for the necessary store, and then obviously the $50 a month inventory automation. Our custom file, so this really allows us to integrate with just about any platform, any marketplace that we're not currently integrated with. So if you've got a very niche platform or marketplace that you want to sell on that does not accept inventory or orders over an API, or it doesn't have the technology and really just wants to take file uploads, we can basically take your supplier feeds and generate it into a custom file that is ready-made and updated daily to automatically import, or I'm sorry, not automatically, essentially manually download and manually import, but in that format that's necessary for that channel. So you're not having to change any columns, mess around with any data. It's ready to go. We've basically reformatted it for you to automatically upload without having to change anything around. So just a quick customer profile. This is Peter, one of our best customers here with us. He's actually local here in Jacksonville, Florida with us. We recently set him up with both inventory and order automation on BigCommerce and Ordoro. He's one of our customers that's using a multi-channel management platform as well as an online store. And just a couple of good quotes here about how it really took 15 minutes to add a new product, where now it only takes 30 seconds because they're automatically loading. He's simply just changing around some descriptions and titles and things like that for SEO. And really, that really has helped them become more competitive with adding more products in this space and testing more products on this store. Order automation is really one of the more compelling quotes I've heard here is he went from 2 people to 1 person to help manage his orders. Over that same time period, he was doubling his orders. We spoke with him a couple I think weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and it was right around that busy time of year where he was manually updating shipment tracking. He was sending orders over email, and he was having 2 people pull from at least 4 to 5 different suppliers shipment tracking information and putting that back into his Ordoro system, where we automated that process and helped him really become more efficient. So here's a quick sneak peek into our Q1 and Q2 2017 roadmap. As I mentioned, not only is the push to eBay tool becoming redesigned and improved our directory and our tools as well. Those 3 tools I mentioned. We're adding some new functionality, new features, and increasing the, improving the interface. We're also going to be adding 24/7 premium support. We just went to 24/5. We'll be adding a 24/7 premium support here in February. One of the most exciting things we have on the roadmap here is the real-time sync. Essentially real-time, I should say, because really what we're doing is we're pulling as much as we possibly can from the supplier and updating as much as we possibly can to the market. And that should be coming out here in late February, early March. Some things we kind of hope to look at in Q2 will be the improved supplier sourcing alerts. So not just alerts on new products, but also on price drops, on price increases, on different quantity drops, whatever it might be. We're really kind of rebuilding and building out that alert system. And finally, in late Q2, we hope to kind of get started with the cross-supplier SKU mapping. So identifying which SKUs that you have in your catalog that are sourced from multiple different suppliers, and allowing you to kind of do some analysis on which ones you want to source from which suppliers. With that, we're going to go ahead and jump into some Q&A. I'm going to real quick look through the chat and work with, we've got Justin here is helping us out. So 1 second, I'm going to look at kind of the questions we've got here to get started. So the first one I see here is, it says, do you load up all the products to our website for us? Also, do you update it such as out of stock? So yeah, as we mentioned earlier, we load all the products. No need to deal with any files or anything like that. We're going to load those products automatically. We give you the tools to determine if there is, if you want to load those products, or if you want to hold off. You can get new product alerts to make a decision on if you want to load them, or you can load them automatically. So we do all that, and then we're going to keep that stock inventory in sync. And we're also going to pull down from your website or from your Amazon or eBay store. We're going to pull down anything that goes out of stock, so you don't sell things that are out of stock. Okay, another question we've got here is pricing for the multiple suppliers and sales channels. So inventory automation by itself, let's start with that one, starts off at $50 a month, and that is for one supplier to one channel. Let's remember that eBay is a separate tool. It comes included with inventory automation. But anything else, where if you want to add another sales channel, so say you're selling one supplier to Shopify and one to Amazon, that's going to be essentially 2 different integrations, and that would be $50 for the first one, and then for each additional, it's only $30 a month. So it drops down to $30 for each additional. So 2 integrations would be $80 a month, 3 would be $110, so on and so forth. That's inventory automation. It works the same way as far as suppliers as well, I should note. If you have one Shopify store and 2 suppliers, that's 2 integrations. That would be $80. 50 for the first, 30 for the second. Order automation is a little bit different. Order automation starts at $99. That is for up to 2 integrations and 500 orders, and then it goes up from there in pricing. I believe the next pricing tier is $199, and it's up to 4 integrations, and the order volume increases as well. And we've got tiers that kind of go up based on that. One question we just have come in right now is a very common one, to be honest with you. It's when you first sign up with us, a very common question is, should I go sign up with a supplier before signing up for your services? Most of the time, yes, I would say. You do want to look to be sure that you can become approved to resell the products. However, I would say that almost all of our suppliers, as we go through the vetting process and the sign-up process to get them into our directory, we make sure that they're accepting new resellers. We make sure that they don't have a high bar for taking on new resellers, such as sales volume, things like that. Most of them are pretty lenient, and they're hungry to find new resellers. So it's not too often that I hear about those being disapproved, but it can happen, and it can take a couple weeks. So I've seen some people get set up, because it can take some time to really look into what you want to do as far as mapping your categories, to changing your pricing, to deciding which products you want to sell and not sell. That can take a week or so if you really get into the weeds and want to make outline a strategy that makes sense for you. It can take less than a day if you just kind of want to list everything at a certain bulk price and kind of go from there. So I've seen people get signed up with us, start working on that, get their store built, whatever it might be, and at the same time they're out there trying to get approved with different suppliers and sending applications and things like that. So I've seen it both ways. It just really comes down to just understanding that before you start selling and you make your first sale, you need to be sure that you're sending that sale to someone that you're approved to be selling their items for. Next question we've got is, would split shipping show up as an option to the customer when they're processing an order? So this is a tough one because this really comes down to the platform you're on. It comes down to, if you're on Shopify, let's say, and you have an item from one supplier and an item from another supplier, your cart, your Shopify checkout cart that's on the theme, that's built on top of Shopify, that's the logic that's going to control how people can determine if an item is from several different suppliers. We can certainly pass that kind of data to the back end, but it really comes down to the customization on your Shopify, Magento, BigCommerce, wherever it might be, the cart you're using, to alert that supplier, or I'm sorry, alert that customer of the different kind of split order that they might be ordering. Okay, I think that was the bulk of them. There's a couple that overlap there, but I think that was the bulk of them. If you have any questions with this webinar, if you want to follow up with us, feel free to email us at support@inventorysource.com. We can definitely help you out. There's a ton of videos as well that we've got on our tools to kind of help you get onboarded. If you're already a customer, you might be just attending this webinar. But thank you very much for your time, and have a great day.